Chapter 4: Identifying and Expressing Feelings. The first component of NVC is to observe without evaluating. The second component is to express how we are feeling. Psychoanalyst Rollo May suggests that the mature person becomes able to differentiate feelings into as many nuances, strong and passionate experiences, or delicate and sensitive ones, as in the different passages of music in a symphony. For many of us, however, our feelings are, as May would describe it, limited like notes in a bugle call. The heavy cost of unexpressed feelings. Our repertoire of words for calling people names is often larger than our vocabulary of words to clearly describe our emotional states. I went through 21 years of American schools and can't recall anyone in all that time ever asking me how I felt. Feelings were simply not considered important. What was valued was the right way to think, as defined by those who held positions of rank and authority. We are trained to be other directed rather than to be in contact with ourselves. We learn to be up in our head wondering what is it that others think is right for me to say and do. An interaction I had with the teacher when I was about 9 years old demonstrates how alienation from our feelings can begin. I once hid myself in a classroom after school because some boys were waiting outside to beat me up. A teacher spotted me and asked me to leave the school. When I explained I was afraid to go, she declared, "Big boys don't get frightened." A few years later, I received further reinforcement through my participation in athletics. It was typical for coaches to value athletes willing to give their all and continue playing no matter how much physical pain they were in. I learned the lesson so well I once continued playing basketball for a month with an untreated broken wrist. At an NVC workshop, a college student spoke about being kept awake by a roommate who played the stereo late at night and loudly. When asked to express what he felt when this happened, the student replied, "I feel that it isn't right to play music so loud at night." I pointed out that when he followed the word feel with the word that he was expressing an opinion but not revealing his feelings. Asked to try again, try again to express his feelings, he responded, "I feel when people do something like that, it's the personality disturbance." I explained that this was still an opinion rather than feeling. He paused thoughtfully and then announced with vehemence, "I have no feelings about it whatsoever." This student obviously had strong feelings. Unfortunately, he didn't know how to become aware of his feelings, let alone express them. This difficulty in identifying and expressing feelings is common, and in my experience, especially so among lawyers, engineers, police officers, corporate managers, and career military personnel. People whose professional codes discourage them from manifesting emotions. For families, the toll is severe when members are unable to communicate emotions. Country singer Reba McKenzie wrote a song after her father's death and titled it "The Greatest Man I Never Knew." In doing so, she undoubtedly expressed the sentiments of many people who were never able to establish the emotional connection they would have liked with their fathers. I regularly hear statements like, "I wouldn't want you to get the wrong idea. I'm married to a wonderful man, but I never know what he is feeling." One such dissatisfied woman brought her spouse to a workshop, during which she told him, "I feel like I'm married to a wall." The husband then did an excellent imitation of a wall. He sat mute and immobile. Exasperated, she turned to me and exclaimed, "See, this is what happens all the time. He sits and says nothing. It's just like living with a wall." "It sounds to me like you are feeling lonely and wanting more emotional contact with your husband," I responded. When she agreed, I tried to show how statements such as, "I feel like I'm living with a wall," are unlikely to bring her feelings and desires to her husband's attention. In fact, they are more likely to be heard as criticism than as invitations to connect with her feelings. Furthermore, such statements often lead to self-fulfilling prophecies. A husband, for example, hears himself criticized for behaving like a wall. He is hurt and discouraged and doesn't respond, thereby confirming his wife's image of him as a wall.